Hey, it's Tuesday night. It's me, Gazbot, on the floor. Why on the floor? Well, as you may remember from our last episode, there's an empty spot here because I was building new furniture. And I decided to be a go-getter and put some more time in, spent an hour and a half, which brings me to like 3 hours or whatever total, 4 hours. And I was getting close to being done. But it's built wrong. Now, I don't mean a little built wrong, because I did have one side of one part put on incorrectly, and after I had screwed 6 screws, I had to unscrew them all and do that. Twice during the build, I did that. Part of it is because I'm a dope, but I'm not good at this sort of thing. And I used to say, like, well, I haven't, like there's the experience. Like, I didn't grow up doing tools. And I don't, but I've done it enough at this point that you'd think I'd start figuring it out, but I'm still not very good at it. But part of it is also the instructions. This was a Target build. It wasn't IKEA, but it's a very similar thing. And they're just, sometimes it's very small, and like in the picture, the wheel is on the bottom, but it's this big, and oh, the wheel was on the top, but didn't say like, make sure the wheel is on the bottom or anything like that. So twice that happened. Fixed it, lived with it. Did it. But this thing, this is part of it. The other part's up here somewhere. I'm not getting up off the floor, so you're gonna have to just see that. This whole side right here that I'm hitting with my foot is on the wrong side. The other one over there has like a plug on the side with like USB plugs and outlets and things. That's one of the features. So it'll be right here next to the bed. So I can go, oh, I'll plug my phone in and have a lovely energy into my mouth. But it's on the wrong side because everything's upside down and flipped it inside out, and I don't have a good head for math or picturing things three-dimensionally wrong. I'm annoyed. And what I need to do is take this off and switch it with that. But I built everything else already, so I don't even know how to do that. I have to take off the top, which is like 6 screws, and then, yeah, I can't. The whole thing's going to come apart. All right, so I laid on the floor for about a half hour. Then I spent about a half hour taking it apart and rebuilding it, so this is on the correct side, and this is where it's going to be. And I'm like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to be able to mount it tonight, but it'll be built. And I'm going to put these drawers in. Nope, because since I flipped it, these are all upside down. And there's 3 screws each in each of these. So I got to take those out and flip them completely. And it's going to be harder now because it's on its side in this little cubby instead of flat like it was before. It's like they're like wood screws. There's not like a pre-drilled drill. There's not a pre-drilled hole or a special slot. So they might be stripped or loose. I'm not doing that now. It's 11 o'clock. I am done. This is like an episode of Home Improvement or something. I do art. I'm an artist. And toys. Hey, it's Tuesday morning. I am getting a paper cutter to cut. These are invitations that I got printed that I need to cut before we head to school. It's early in the morning. Was I recording this whole time? Waiting at a stop sign. The kid is dropped off. Okay, I had breakfast and coffee. Well, I had half a cup of coffee and breakfast. I gotta drive. Stoplight now. What I was trying to say was I wasn't planning on going to a coffee shop today for a variety of reasons. But usually on Wednesday at her school, there is a coffee truck from one of the local coffee shops that I never go to because I usually want to go and sit. But I'm like, I'll pick up a nice coffee and go home. Wasn't there today. So I could just go home, but I'm like, I'm going to go to a Bode. And I thought about getting a cup of coffee to go, but they're never as good. So I'm going to sit and drink a cup of coffee, but I feel woefully unprepared. I don't have my backpack. I don't have my iPad. I don't have headphones. I have nothing but my phone. But I realized my buddy Rob and Mike want to do this new podcast, audio only, that we're recording tonight. And I should probably do a little prep for that. So yeah, the idea is to have like sort of a fun trivia fact. I'm simplifying it, but I have my trivia fact, but I need to kind of give a 3-minute presentation, and I'm not ready for that. So I'm gonna drink my coffee, figure that out, catch up on some emails, social media, then head back home and do house stuff, including but not limited to working on that piece of furniture and the Micronauts commission. Those are the two main things. I also, the comics are coming tomorrow, hopefully, and I just got a notification from Cat Print that those orders are coming, that print order, and once that print order comes, I need to go back to the Hungry Dragon I need to restock the Hungry Dragon where I have my art, and also put some back up on the wall because there's some empty spots, even though I think they have extra. The point is I need to give them a restock and refresh of the display. It's kind of like being a vendor. Like at Target, there's like a NECA section in the electronics. My understanding is like Target doesn't do that. NECA comes in and they restock it and they set it up and make the planogram and all that. That's kind of me at this this game store, which is fine, absolutely fine, because it's free publicity, free advertising, free money, and they take a very small cut and they're very nice. But the point is, I have some new prints coming. So I wanted to wait until the new prints come so I could bring the new Godzilla print. Maybe Baragon, I don't know. But yeah, so I'll be doing that soon too. Holy hot, it's like 9:30. I think it's supposed to get to 99 today. Definitely hotter than it was yesterday. I think the rest of the week's gonna go up to past 100. So good time to not be outside. All right, I'm home. I've been working, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour. I redid all the rails. I put these in, put that in. This is done and it's good. Good job, me. I need to mount it to the wall. And the other thing is, for measuring the shelves, part of this is I'm going to put some Vintage Collection 375 Star Wars vehicles on there. This I got, I literally just took it out of the box. To give you an idea how old it is, it has Slave One on the box, which they don't use anymore for Boba Fett's ship. I got this before we moved into this house, so 4 years ago at least, and it's been sitting in a box. Now it's out. It's going to go there. I got the Mandalorian Starfighter, also going to go there. A lot of this stuff that was just on the floor in a pile, all going to go there. So I used it to kind of help measure the shelves, but now I'm going to mount it, so I got to go get a ladder. Get a can of Diet Soda while I'm at it. It's 11:30. It took longer than I thought, but it's done. It's not set up for real, but things are on the shelf. They're not on the floor or whatever. That box is empty. I got to get rid of it. Yeah, so it's going to have Star Wars stuff on it. Good, fall. That's fine. And I put some shirts in there, and then the other thing I'm gonna put out on the curb, and so that's over an hour before I have to pick up the kid, and I desperately need a shower, so I'm gonna shower and shave and see how much time is left, and then I don't know, maybe try to start. I probably won't be able to start on the Micronauts commission, but what I'll do is I had cleaned out my drafting table area somewhat. I'll probably finish clearing that out, print it out, kind of get it all set up, like the pre-production, as I like to call it. And yeah, shower, shaved, etc. I've got about 10 minutes before I have to leave, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to do anything here. Actually, I got to clean up the cutting board from before, and there's some stuff in the landing I got to get cleaned up, so I think I'm going to clean up, maybe put some gel in my hair. Well, not gel. I use this, it's kind of like a pomade, it's a wax, whatever. And then probably head out, so I probably won't have time to set up the Micronauts stuff tonight. Hey, it's 101 degrees here. Leaving my mom's house after a little socializing. Gonna go to the coffee shop, try to get some art done. I've gotten 0 art done today. I'm feeling rusty, which is weird to say when I'm not even sitting down to draw, but I just feel that way. So maybe I will do some studies first to warm up. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Let's go. It's 101, time for some hot coffee. I'm here just under 2 hours. Spent most of the time inking on the Dragon Sword. I had to do a couple corrections with the hands and a few other things, but I've got most of the heavy, like 10-point lines in. I'll probably put a few more in. There's some work to go, but I've got some progress. Still 102 degrees out. Coffee shop closing up, so I kind of had to move on. Got a little bit of time. I think there's a Walmart near here. I got to do a Walmart return, so I'm going to try to do that and then head back to my mom's house. Successful at Walmart, but that took a long time. I had bought it online, and I had the credit card I used, and I had my account, and I had a receipt, and none of those would work. And so they kind of did it as a no receipt returned, so I had to store credit, so I used that to buy Chun-Li. Bad angle recording, go-go's. It's Thursday. The comics are on their way. They were supposed to be delivered today. Wait, what's today? Thursday. Today, I got a notification. They're not going to be delivered till tomorrow. So I was going to stay home and deal with that, but I'm not because they're not going to be there. Meanwhile, there's this thing at school, like Brown Bear. I don't know, it's a story, it's a poem, it's something. It's some kid's thing that I didn't have as a kid, so I don't really know what it is. But it's Brown Bear something, and there's all these different colors. Last year when the kid was in TK, I made sure she wore the color every day, and it seemed to be not a big deal, and most people weren't doing it. So I was like, all right. So this year, we kind of got ready, but she hasn't been super into it, and I haven't been super on the ball, and I haven't worried. And then yesterday was Brown Bear Day, and everybody was wearing yellow except her. And I was like, oh, I guess it's a big deal this year. Good. So then today, and I was like, well, should we do this? She's like, yeah. And then today, she didn't wear a color, and I'm like, do you want to wear a color? What color? She's like, it's green. I'm like, okay. And I found a green, and she put the green on. It wasn't a great green. It was sort of like an olive drab. But anyway, Got to school, seemed like everyone was wearing blue, but she had blue shorts on. So, you know, we kind of succeeded despite ourselves. Yeah. Always takes longer than I think. I've been here about 3 hours. About 2 hours of that was working on the Inks of the Dragonzord, and as you can see from the red, there was a lot of redrawing and finagling. So I'm happy with the progress that's happening. I'm unhappy with the speed or the lack thereof. But I'm gonna head home and take care of a few things before I have to pick up the kid. I got about 45 minutes total, and then it's about a half-hour ride home, so, well, 20, whatever. Anyway, I gotta go. The car cools off from being 100 degrees, or, well, actually, it's 100 degrees outside, so it's probably like 5,000 degrees inside. I got the proofs for reprints of issues 1 and 2 that I looked at and look okay, but I'm gonna go home and check them again before I prove them, since I made a mistake once before. Pool day. Water. Yes, it's a pool day, and I got water. And then I'm gonna take a shower and clean the kid. Well, clean her, then take a shower. I don't know. It's a pool day. It's a pool day. We were in the pool for about an hour or so. It was over 100 today. Then I had to help her get cleaned up. I got myself cleaned up, and then laid in bed for a while. Fell asleep for like 7 minutes. Woke up, came over here, approved the reprints of issue 1 and 2. I got about 10 or 15 minutes till I got to get her. I made a cup of coffee because I'm falling asleep. I got a podcast I'm recording with my friends tonight in about an hour and a half, and before then I may have dinner, or I might have dinner after. Maybe I'll try to play Fortnite. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to play Fortnite. 10:30 Thursday. I did a bunch of. I didn't do any artwork. What did I do? I don't even know. I went for a walk, and then I did play Fortnite. I did play some Fortnite. That's what I did. But I did like accounting and ordered some flowers for my uncle and some. I just did stuff. But I came in here and I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend a little time working on this. That Slave 1 from Boba Fett had like 6 stickers. And I'm like, well, let me put those on so I can get the box out of here, put it in the garage, throw it away, whatever, but I'll get rid of the box. They were really hard to put on. The instructions weren't really clear. They might be slightly in the wrong spot. If I ever resell it, somebody might complain about that. But that doesn't matter because it was so hard to put on that I was sitting on the bed here and I dropped it a foot to the floor. And that little like wing flap thing broke right off. Now, there's a secondary thing on top, so it's kind of hanging on there, but it's completely broken. It's attached to a pole that's supposed to twist like this. That pole just broke right off. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. Super good. I've been saving this forever. I had it up for 1 day and broke it. Stupid. Meanwhile, for less time, but still a while, I think at least a year, if not 2 years, I've had it in this house. I got it either for Christmas or my birthday, and I hadn't had a place to put it up. So I got Boba Fett in the Slave 1, and I got the Mandalorian and the N1 Starfighter. I'm excited to open this, and hopefully I don't break this today or tomorrow. I'm at Coyote Coffee. Oh, it's loud. I'm gonna film here so I can put my face right next to the microphone. I did some social media, had a little breakfast. I haven't done any art. I've been coordinating. My aunt and uncle are in LA. Unfortunately, there was a death in the family, which obviously is not a good thing, but the good part of it is that my uncle is gonna try to meet us for breakfast tomorrow, which is great, except I had sent an edible arrangement to their house, which luckily a neighbor brought in, otherwise it would have been ruined by the time they got home because I didn't know they were out here. And the kid has a birthday party at 1, so we're gonna like try to sneak in a breakfast before then. So I was coordinating a lot of that stuff with various family and things like that. And I just checked, my cat print order is coming in on Monday with the new prints. The new copies of issue 3 should be here today. They were supposed to be here yesterday, between 12 and 2. I'm gonna work a little bit and then I'm gonna go, I think I talked about how I needed to pick some stuff up for a lab test that I wasn't able to get the other day. So I'm gonna work for a little bit and then I'm gonna go try to do that. And hopefully later I'll be working on Kickstarter fulfillment. It's 11 o'clock. Did a little bit of social media and other things, but let's say I've been working on this for an hour at least, maybe an hour and a half, and still just working on the inks and little corrections. It looks like it's almost done and I just gotta trace it, but it never works out that way. So we'll see. What'd you say? Oh, okay. All right, looks like the comics showed up while I was on my way home. Boom. There they are. Here we go. Third time. There's the Frankie B. Washington cover. I'm gonna go right to the page that should have the lettering. It has the lettering. So this seems to be correct. I'm gonna have to look at it more later and check the other covers, but I think we're good. cautiously optimistic. When I pick up the kid, I started assembling packs to send out for Kickstarter. I got one 100% done, packaged it up, printed out the label, and it's in the car to drop off at the post office. So as of today, Friday, I will be sending out my first physical Kickstarter reward, not including the shirts that got sent directly from the shirt printer, and all the digital rewards, of course, gone out. I got the comic book boxes that have been recommended by a few people, and I'm wondering if I should have added more tape or if I should have done something else, because it just feels like less secure in some ways than the photo mailers I would do. So I think it's okay, but I felt weird. I think I'm gonna watch like a tutorial on how to do it to just make sure I'm doing it right. But it also seemed unnecessary for one issue with a bag and board and a 9x6 print and a sticker. I could have just put in a flat mailer, and I wonder if that would be cheaper, because the postage on this this one's going to New Jersey. With the discount, buying it online was $6.25. So I'm losing money on this one. And I usually, with shipping, with prints and things like that, I sort of say $5, and sometimes it's less than $5, sometimes it's more than $5. But I think a few things are happening. One, postage prices keep going up, and I might need to raise my postage prices, which I don't want to do. But the other, I've done it for international, but I might have to do it for even in the United States. And the other thing is that I think I just coincidentally get a lot of people that are far from where I live. But so I got to double check the pricing on the issue, but it cost me, let's say two something. Let's say $2.25. And then the shipping was $6.25, so that's $9. And they got a free print and a free sticker. If the free print and the free sticker cost me 50 cents each, which I don't remember, but that's probably somewhere in that ballpark, but probably more, that's $10. They paid $10 minus Kickstarter's fee. I'm losing money on it. Absolutely lost money sending this package. Hopefully the whole thing will come out in the wash and I won't lose money overall, but it was a win followed by a loss in terms of morale. Okay, leaving a different post office, but it's the same day. It's Friday, a little before dinner. Dropped off 2 packages for Tekabai's Uruzuki and 2 more Kickstarter packages. So 3 Kickstarter packages have gone out. One is actually for the big dog, and I'm going to see him for in a few weeks. So I think I'm just going to bring that with me. Yeah, those single issues are killer, because the other one wasn't going as far, but it was still $5 and change. But I did another that was a 3-pack, and that was only $8. So I'm hoping, again, it all comes out in the wash. I know I'm not making any money on this Kickstarter because of the misprint I did. But putting that aside, I still think I'm going to be maybe breaking even, maybe getting a hair over. I might even lose money. I'm happy I got the issue done. I'm happy I got the Kickstarter done. I'm just happy with everything that I've accomplished. I'm not happy with the fact that prices and shipping and printing and a lot of things changed the way they do things or the price they do things, and I didn't do a lot of research into that and just went off of old data and hurried to get it done. After spending years getting the comic done, I hurried to get the Kickstarter done before a show, because like, I don't know, it was a good motivation to get it done, but it was bad for planning properly. And the other 2 Kickstarters I did, I made money. Not a lot of money, but I made money. I got some free copies of the comic. Free is a relative term to sell. And I had a little bit of change to do a show or make some more prints or whatever. And like I said, not including the misprints, I'll be happy if I don't lose money on this. And I'm not complaining. And I'm happy for everybody that backed it. And thank you. This is all my own. It's not even stupidity. It's like impulsiveness, rashness, lack of preparedness. That is what it is. Working on fulfillment. 56 backers. 4 of which need no rewards. 5 of which got issue 3 digital. 9 of which got a digital bundle. So only 38 physical rewards to ship. Of those, I already shipped 4. Well, I shipped 3 and I have 1 packed to go. So I have 34 left to ship. I was doing this basically right, except I was folding this slightly wrong, but I didn't do anything wrong on the inside. The person who was doing it was putting bubble wrap, but they weren't putting a bag and board. It was like loose comics. So it was slightly different, but anyway, this is fine. But I have these, which is how I'd shipped them previously, well, the white one. And putting it in this, it's slightly smaller and like an ounce less. And $4.86. This is to California, so it's not that bad. But if I shipped it in one of these boxes, it would be $5.60. So that's a 74 cents difference in California, which might be more outside of California. But also, this is cheaper than this. So I think what I'm going to do is any individual comics, I'm going to send in this. When I have multiples, then it might be worth it with these. But that's what I'm going to do. So this is an individual comic that's going to send like this because I already packaged it. But all the rest are going to go in.
Please get everyone's attention for one and only, please. I have Diane and Steve, and today is their first time here at Annie's. If we can please give them a warm Annie's welcome.
Woo! Hi!
Welcome to Annie's.
Thank you. You don't take that off. You're gonna offend the culture. You're gonna offend them. Wide open mini store I've ever seen. It feels like a completely different store. And it's not in a mall. Cat puke all over the stairs. Woo. Yeah, cat puke. Woo. It's Monday morning. I did nothing. Well, that's not true. I did a lot over the weekend. I did no artwork over the weekend. I did no packing of Kickstarter stuff for the weekend. Saturday, unexpected, my uncle, who lives in Florida, I'm in California, it's across the country, was in town. So he said, hey, you know, she's still tied up with family stuff, but I could come meet you for breakfast Saturday morning. So we did that. And my mom and Tech Advisor Azuki and the kid and everybody, we had breakfast, and it was bad circumstances, but nice to see him, and that was all good. But that was most of the morning. And then got home and had a kid's birthday party, pool party, and that was the middle of the day. And then washing the kid and watching the kid and putting the kid to bed, and all of a sudden the day was over. Then yesterday, Sunday, I had the morning shift, and then my mom came over, and then Tech Advisor Azuki and I went out for lunch, brunch, whatever. But Uzi, you're making this difficult with your little tail. Are you the one that puked? One of the cats puked all over the stairs this morning, as you just saw. Anyway, we were out doing that and buying things. I don't remember what we did. We went out for the day. Where's a yawn? And I've not been feeling awesome the last couple days. And yesterday I felt mostly okay during the day. And then after dinner, I just felt terrible and was basically done. I was in bed and just felt bad for hours until it was time to sleep. I also was very fatigued yesterday, or I just woke up and felt like even though I had okay, well, I just felt like I was asleep. And today I'm not feeling as bad as I felt yesterday, but I'm not feeling great. The kid's getting ready. I gotta make breakfast and feed the cats. The cats are letting me know. One of the cats puked all over the stairs. Does not affect their ability to want to be fed and to jump in my face. So I gotta get all that together and get the kid out the door. And I think, yeah. So like I said, I'm feeling better, but I'm really dragging. And I went to the Far Coffee Shop and I brought my Godzilla encyclopedia, because even though theoretically the Godzilla in the print I'm working on was done when I started, and I spent hours and hours redoing it, I feel like I need to redo it. That's my toxic trait, but I'm gonna, I still gotta finish the Dragon Zord, but this is a good reference for various different suits and things. And I'm going to start by looking at this and reading this and trying to convince myself I should do some work. So the Godzilla in this print is what's known as Millennium, which is like 1999 to the early 2000s, the Japanese version. And there's several suits, and I was kind of mostly going off this suit, I realize, in retrospect. But I had aspects of other suits, and I don't know. I'm looking at like the ridge in the middle here, which is thicker on this one, and the face is still a little off. And so I'm gonna fix the ridge in the middle and mess with the face. And you can see I already put my lines in. I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna eat my food and then come back to it in a minute. Between an hour and a half revising the Godzilla that I've revised many times before. The version I started with, and this is what I have now. I thickened the tail a little bit. I put more jagged spikes on the dorsal fins. I fixed that sort of line going down the middle. I adjusted the fingers. I adjusted that leg. But the main thing I did was changing the face, making the eye more sinister, fixing the nose a little bit, there was a little bit too much darkness in the face there. I do think it's better. The fact that I've revised it so much and spent probably 10 hours revising inks after I finished them maybe not 10 hours, maybe 6, maybe 8, but it's ridiculous. I often say prints like this take me about 20 hours, and that's true, but this one, they take me about 20 hours, I should say minimum. This one's probably more going on like 30, which is ridiculous, especially considering there's no background or anything. It's just 2 characters and color. But yeah, that's where we're at. 12:20, I want to pick up the kid. Today's not going how I wanted. I did plan on, I was gonna just get a cup of coffee, work on my print a little bit, go home and get a bunch of stuff done there. After I get the kid, I gotta go to the post office, a few other things, and then when she's an independent play, I'll get some Kickstarter stuff done, and I'll do a few things I need to do at home. I need to make phone calls. I need to do life stuff that I didn't take care of at all. Really, all I did, I just posted something on social media, because I'm trying to do that every day. I let myself not worry about the weekend as much, and worked on the print. And I'm hitting a place that I always flirt with, and I had been deep in this when I kind of was like not working on issue 3 of the horror, and I've not been there for, well, I feel like I work and I work and I work and I put hours and hours and hours in consistently, and I get nowhere because I'm just so slow. I'm just so slow. And it's that thing of like, well, nobody's perfect, and just, perfect is the enemy of good, and, finished is finish it, just finish it, finish not perfect, whatever. And sometimes I'm guilty of redrawing something 50 times and it barely, it's like 1% better after I put in 10 hours. I'm definitely guilty of that. But sometimes I put in 3 hours and I'm like, oh, it's like 50% better. And then I put in 3 hours, I'm like, oh, it's 50% better. And that's what I feel like is happening with me now, where I'm going back and reworking stuff, but I'm not just, someone could argue I'm nitpicking, but I feel like, oh no, I'm fixing the line quality to reflect shadow and depth in the skin tone. Oh, I'm changing it so that it better matches the character design. Oh, I'm changing it so that the perspective is a little better. Oh, and I am objectively fixing it. But I'm just feeling disheartened. Sunset, it's Monday evening. I worked at the coffee shop. After that, I took care of the kid, and we went to the comic store, and we went to the library and had some fun and played around and whatever. And then not feeling good again, not as bad as yesterday, but not feeling great. Going for a walk, which is one of those things where when I don't feel good, I don't want to do, but I also know it's good. It helps. Well, it's good for health, but it also helps when I don't feel good. If not now, in an hour, tomorrow, whatever. I'm feeling very down about everything, not about everything. Feeling very down about everything art related right now. I want to be working on the comic, but I realized I did touch art over the weekend, just for a few minutes, looking at one of the panels that I had finished the pencils to. I was like, this looks wrong. Let me move that, and like just redrawing it again of my own character Boots in a simple panel. And I always come back to like, when does it get easy? And I don't mean like there's no effort involved. I expect there to be effort in the occasional puzzle you got to figure out with your brain, but like basic stuff, it just never gets easy. And I see people better than me, worse than me, with simpler style than me, with more complicated style than me. And obviously not everyone's always being honest, and I don't always see the hard parts, but like, I feel like, I don't know, very woe is me, but I feel like I struggle with art so much. Like, it's so hard, and I don't know why. And even as I get better, it doesn't get easier, it's still hard. If anything, it gets harder the better I get, because, I don't know, but I was watching videos or listening to podcasts or whatever on my walk, and I was looking at a TikTok I posted, and I just scrolled a few others, and I found a creator talking about doing Anime Expo for the first time. And I don't usually, up until very recently, I didn't watch a lot of videos of people selling art at conventions. I watched a lot of videos of how to set up, where to get prints made, all the nuts and bolts practicality of how to get ready for it, but not so much like, here I am, and here's how well I did, and here's what I think, and but in the last year or 2, 3, I've watched a few over the last couple of years since coming back from COVID, because I wasn't doing well. But very recently, like the last 6 months to a year, I've watched a lot more. And while I've seen a few, they're like, wow, we didn't really make any money. Overwhelmingly, and again, this is the people who are deciding to post, they depress the poop out of me, because I just see people doing so much better financially. Not even talking about like the quality of the work or whatever. And you know, maybe there's an argument to be made that like they're catering to their fan base, their customer base more than I am. And I'm not in competition necessarily with the people that are like, oh, the new Superman movie came out, I got to do a new Superman print immediately. I'm never going to be that person because of how slow I work, because of how difficult it is for me to work, see comments I was just making. However, a lot of these people are just doing like their own cute designs, or you know, their own comic or their own whatever, or they're doing fan art, but like me, kind of just doing what they want as opposed to chasing the specific trend of that moment. And granted, maybe their fan art is, I don't even know what, Sailor Moon, and that's more profitable than Power Rangers, or their fan art is, you know, Steven Universe, and that's more profitable than Godzilla or whatever. That could be part of it too. Anyway, this person, I don't know who they are. I quickly looked at their TikTok profile, and they did have like 280,000 followers, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not super famous, but like pretty good, you know. Like I've got like 300 or 400, I think. And I see creators all the time like, I've only got like 10,000 followers. Like, yeah, that's not a lot, but again, that is a lot, you know. So they were saying how their experience, they were breaking it down. And I've done this before, not on TikTok and not in such short form, although I'm thinking maybe I'll do that for the San Francisco G-Fest, especially because I suspect I'm going to lose money. Where it's like, here's all my costs and here's what I made and da-da-da-da. And one of the things they did was they counted all their supplies. Like they put in an order for like, I think they said it was like $500 worth of prints and keychains and things like that. I'm getting the number a little wrong, but let's say it was $500. They didn't count it like, oh, and therefore of the money I sold, taking out the material costs for the things I sold, like they said they sold about half their inventory that they ordered. So that would mean that the way I would calculate it was about $250 in that show. The other $250 is a future show or backstock or calculated differently. Even though they spent that money just then, it wasn't like they spent it specifically just for that show. Regardless, they chose to calculate it that way. And they did acknowledge that the rest of it will be sold at another show or online or whatever. All this to say, they did Anime Expo in LA. And they had like a cute style. I think I might have seen a couple characters I recognized, but it mostly just looked like super chibi cute characters, a lot of sheets of like 10 versions of the same character, things like that. And characters I either didn't recognize, they were chibified to the point where I didn't recognize them, or they were their own characters, or they were just like characters they made up for that piece of art and that's all they exist as. And again, granted, they have a following, but they were saying that the total cost all in for everything was like $2,000 something, between $2,000 and $3,000. And they're like, I'm going to tell you how much I made. And what I don't want is for a bunch of people to give me advice how to make more money. You know, I did this to show what someone can expect if they have kind of my level of following, and they just kind of come and set up and do it basically how I did it. And it's sort of a, you know, competent but bare bones, sort of like this is a regular setup that most people would have. And she's like, so I know this number is low, it's lower than I expected, lower than I wanted, but you know, here it is. And it was between $7,000 and $8,000. And she's like, but you know, taking out that 2 something, that means I made about $5,000 and whatever. Let's just say $5,000. I've been doing conventions on and off 10 years, more than that probably, but at least 10 years. The best show I ever did, I think I made like $2,000 or $3,000. That was not common. That's like the best show I ever did, ever. And it's been so long, I don't even remember if it was like $3,000 profit or $3,000 total, and I actually made like $1,500 or something like that. A good show for me is if I do the weekend and come out with between $500 and $1,000. A lot of shows I come out with less. Lately, I've been losing money on shows. And it's, you know, it's not all about the money. But again, I've been struggling with ability and time and other things. And it's just depressing. Like, what? And it's not like, whoa, well, this is crazy. I have heard this before. And I've talked to other contemporaries of mine. There's a friend of mine, I don't know if I should say his name. There's a Godzilla artist friend of mine, I'll just say that. He's very simple. We're not the same personality. I like egg salad, he doesn't, so we're very different. But he's roughly my age. He's from the East Coast. He had worked in California for a long time, did a lot of the same shows, did a lot of Godzilla art, does a lot of the same stuff. Our styles are not exactly the same, but similar enough to like in the Godzilla, you know, the semi-local Godzilla art people, he and I are closer than other people. And he has a similar attitude and, you know, whatever. And his setup is kind of similar. And he has, you know, just there's a lot of similarities. They're not exactly the same, but it's like a good person. You shouldn't compare, but if I'm going to compare, comparing to him makes sense. And, you know, I've talked to him and other people at a show where it's like kind of slow, where people aren't doing it as well. And it's like, oh, yeah, you know. And like, it's still like, oh, yeah, we're both doing bad. But he's still doing way better than me. Still doing way better than me. And I don't know why. You know, I finagle my setup a million times. I change my sizes, change my prices, put it in bags, don't put it in bags, put it in boards, don't put it in boards. Maybe I need stickers. Stickers don't sell. Oh, should I have cards? Nobody cares about the cards. I have my comics too. I really push my comics. No one cares. Okay, I don't push my comics. You know. So I definitely get on cruise control for a while. I'll do a bunch of shows where I'm just doing the same thing I did the last few shows. But every 6 months, every year, I try to shake it up. And in between, I make minor adjustments. And yeah, I don't know. It's like, I like doing shows. I like getting out there. I'm a sociable person. I like seeing the other artists. I like talking to people buying my artwork. And I do think that there's a non-zero amount of people that discover me, maybe follow me, maybe buy something on Etsy. I'm semi-known by a tiny amount of people in a small sphere. But it just, like, is it worth, like, putting aside that I enjoy it, and there's a social aspect to it, I don't think it's worth the money ever. Because, like, think about it. If I do a good show for me and I make $1,000, I'm going to say the average show is 2 days. Sometimes they're one, sometimes they're three. But a 2-day show where I make $1,000, that's $500 a day. But those are 2 full days of work, not including the prep before and after, and like the stuff I do at home in the morning, and like, so it's easily 3 days of work for a 2-day show. And that's being conservative. And 3 days, what's the math there? Math. So if I do a 2-day show where I make $1,000 profit, because there are shows where I'll sell $2,000 worth of stuff, but that doesn't mean it's profit. I can sell $2,000. That's the thing. I'll sell $2,000 worth of stuff and make no money or lose money. That's depressing. Where it feels like, oh, and like, yeah, I'm getting my art in the hands of a lot of people, but regardless. So if I do a 2-day show and make $1,000 profit, and I have 2 8-hour days at the show and like 8 hours of prep on either end or whatever, you know, I'm making about $40 an hour. And actually, that's pretty good. I'm actually not complaining about that. I didn't realize it was so good. But if I make $500, which is more like an average good show for me, where I'm like, oh yeah, I did pretty good, that's $20 an hour, which is still not nothing, still better than minimum wage. But that's also like 500 to 1,000 are my good shows. I do shows where I make less than 500 all the time. And I do shows where I make nothing, and I do shows where I lose money. So if you average it all together for the year, I'm not making $20 an hour. I'm probably not making a minimum wage. And also some shows take me an hour to drive there, 2 hours to drive there. I have to get on a plane, things like that. And that's all time that isn't accounted for. And some of it on the plane I could draw, but a lot of it, I'm not working. I'm loading boxes, or I have a show coming up in a few weeks that I'm looking forward to. I know a lot of people there. I'm staying with my buddy, the Big Dog. It's gonna be fun. It was fun last year. Last year was a really good show. I think it made $1,000 profit, but it was a 3-day show that I had to fly to, had to catch an Uber, you know, like, again, it was, and that was, you know, I mean, $1,000 or ish, maybe $1,200, whatever. And it was like one of my best shows of the year. Did that balance out the other show I did where I made $100? It's, yeah, I feel like weirdly, it makes me inclined to do big shows that cost a lot more, that I fly, because then it's like I'm getting this exciting trip. I'm seeing people I wouldn't normally see. I'm maybe meeting someone in a new market, seeing artists I haven't seen in a while. But like local shows, which are easier and cheaper, but I make a lot less, and it's sort of like, oh, I spent my weekend going to that show and I made $300. Was that worth it? Like, not really. I mean, like, money's money, but like, would I have rather had 2 days to work on my art, to clean the house, to spend with my family, to play video games, or, you know, do whatever? I don't, yes. Woe is me. Woe is me. Shut up. All right. I sent out the ones that I've, well, that's not true. I sent out the ones that were packaged up and labeled. I have some package that I need to label, and more that I need to package, of course. It's Tuesday morning. The kid may or may not be sick, may or may not have to stay home from school. She's like a little sniffy. I feel like she could probably go to school, but we're gonna see how she feels after breakfast. Definitely running late at the very least. right, so I got the kid to school about a half hour late. Then I went to the close coffee shop. I was there for about an hour, had breakfast and stuff. And I did social media, and then I ran into somebody I knew and talked to them a bit, and didn't do anywhere. Well, that's not true. I thought about revising that Godzilla again. I did spend a few minutes thinking about doing that, doing like rough drawings over it. Finally did the LabCorp thing I've been trying to do forever, just drop that off. Gotta stop at the grocery store on the way home because we were out of paper towels and a few other things. I was gonna go shopping tomorrow, which I still am, but there are things that we just can't live without. So I'm gonna do that, go home, and then probably do Kickstarter fulfillment. Yes, under £1. So it's Tuesday, late in the afternoon. It's dinner time. It's basically dinner time. I gotta go eat dinner in a minute. Comics are good. Working on fulfillment. I don't know how I'm supposed to do it because theoretically, it all just goes out on time, but some of them are running a little bit late, and some people paid more money, and some people this and that. So I just sort of went down the list, and it's like, oh, okay, digital done, t-shirts done. Everybody that just got a copy of the comic, because that'll be simple, did that. Then I did everybody who got all 3 versions of issue 3, did that. And now I'll be moving on to, I guess, the people who got all 3 issues, like issue 1, 2, and 3. I didn't do the numbers, but I think I'm maybe a third of the way done with fulfillment. That being said, I got to go to the post office tomorrow and drop off like 6 packages, 7 packages, all the packages that I just made, as well as some from yesterday. That's the end of the video. I'll see you next week. I was like, what? Now what? Oh, it's the end. I need to make this. Go, 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 go. Bye.